Thank you for joining us here at KEXP. We're listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle. You can find us at 92.7 FM on the dial in the Bay Area, streaming 24/7 at kexp.org. And you can also download our free mobile apps and take KEXP with you on the go. Wherever you go, never be without great music. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get notification every time we launch a fantastic new KEXP video. We're so excited to be turning you on to great new music almost every single day here at KEXP. And today we have an artist visiting us that we have a long history with. So happy to have Andy Shauf visiting the KEXP studios again. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm very excited about your new album, Norm, that came out last year. It's a very interesting record and interesting the way it came together. So I'm excited to talk to you about it, but want to start with some music?
Sure, yeah.
All right, it's Andy Shauf live on KEXP.
What happens when they die? Maybe eternal life, but only if they find me. Maybe I'll send you down, give them a clue, but then they'll kill you. And I will ask them, was all my love wasted on you? All my love wasted on you? What if they never hear about you at all? Or what if they ignore you? Or would their fate be the same? Well, yeah, I guess. But first they'd face me. I would ask them, was all my love wasted on you? Was all my love wasted on you?
You're listening to Andy Shauf live on KEXP.
Halloween is just around the corner. I was thinking today, sat around getting high all afternoon, wondering what I should wear. Eventually I picked myself up, put on my shoes, and walked out the door. I had one destination in mind, and that destination was the Halloween store. I started my car, and as I did, I wondered if I'd locked the house. Walked back and found that I hadn't, but now my keys were in the car. Walked to the car, pulled the handle, and it snapped back. At least I locked one door. Reached my hand through the open window, pulled the lock, forgot about the house, and drove to the Halloween store. I pulled into the lot and parked next to a blue car like yours. Looked in my rear view mirror, imagining meeting you in an aisle. I said, hi, I'm Norm, I think we've maybe met once before. And as my fog cleared, I realized that you were sitting in your car, smiling at me at the Halloween store.
That is Halloween Store from the album Norm from Andy Shauf, live here with us in the KEXP studios.
Yvonne, jumping with the static of the TV screen. She's telling me exactly what she means, sharing her dreams with me. Oh, I don't know, Yvonne. I don't know what I'd do without you, Yvonne. Yvonne, wailing left to right with her metallic hand. It's telling her what lies within the sand, sharing her dreams with me. Oh, I don't know, Yvonne. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what I'd do.
Andy Shauf live in the KEXP studios. That was a Foxwarren song, unreleased, yes?
A new Foxwarren song, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that today. Got another one from Norm?
This one's called Norm. lays on his side with heavy eyelids, and the price is right. Breathes inward and drifts on out, losing the edges, winning the prizes. And when the television's silent, I speak into his train. Stop these wicked ways, and I will lead you to the promised land. Oh boy, Norm, on his side, clutching the sofa, eyes open wide. Is someone in here? He asks out loud, sits up straight, turns the TV down, and looking all around him, he hears it once again. Stop these wicked ways, and I will lead you to the promised land.
So beautiful. You're listening to Andy Shauf live on KEXP. The new album Norm came out last year. And I'm so delighted to have you here today. Thank you so much for sharing that music with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You've said when you talk about the writing of this record that you set out to write a non-concept record, which is something you're kind of known for. You have these sort of semi or very autobiographical slice of life observational records that have really captured people's love and attention, and you wanted to write what you called, quote unquote, a normal record, but you didn't end up getting there. Can you tell me sort of what your intention was and why you had hoped to write something different and how you ended up back to where you were with a concept record?
Yeah, well, it's been, I have a record called The Party where I wrote about a party and all the songs are set at the same party. And then after that one, I kind of, I tried again with a record called The Neon Skyline, where everything's set at the same bar and it's one night. And leading up to making another record after that one, I was, like, what's the concept going to be this time? And I started working on I wanted to make like a disco record, so I started kind of barreling towards this disco sound, and I was writing a story as I was going, and it was really bad. So I stopped and I said, I think I just need like a full reset, and I scrapped all the songs, I scrapped the story that I was working on, and I said, I think I'm going to make just a normal record. It'll just be a collection of songs, and I'll call it Norm as a kind of, a nod to normal, but also kind of a misleading title, like it should be a story. But then as I was writing the songs for Norm, I wrote a song called Telephone, and it's a song about, it's like the main character is really longing to be talking on the telephone, and it sounds really romantic. And then when you get to the second verse, it kind of flips, and you realize that while he's romanticizing talking on the telephone, he's actually calling the person and looking through their window, like stalking them. And it just kind of gave me this idea like, okay, Norm could be a character, and Norm could be a kind of a sinister character. So I couldn't help myself and ran with it.
However, unlike your other sort of concept records, this one is hopefully fiction, which is a little bit different. And you even reached out to a friend, a writer, to kind of help you create the narrative and make sure that the songs were kind of going together. What made you want to do that? I mean, were you really looking at it like this is a story or a screenplay?
Well, you know, people call my past works like, you know, semi-autobiographical a lot, and that was never really the intention. You know, it's always, my intention has been fiction for a long time, but I think what happens is you write what you know a lot of the time. So, you know, I was partying a lot with the party, and I was going to a bar called the Skyline a lot during the Skyline. But it wasn't, you know, in my mind, those songs are still fictional. However closely the events or the settings can be to my life, the actual circumstances that the characters are going through are not close to my life. But with Norm, yeah, it was kind of there was a moment where I kind of had to decide, like, people are going to associate this with you, I guess, but it's, you know, you can write what you know until you've written all that you know. And I decided to go try something new and write a little bit darker of a story and have a little bit darker of a main character. And Norm is the outcome of that.
Well, I think the album is very interesting in that the songs are very beautiful, and depending on how you listen, you can have a very different experience with the record, and you can not really know that there is a story happening through the songs if you listen to them in the order that they are presented on Norm. And so if you put it on mix, on whatever you listen to music to, you're going to have a different experience. But there is a story there with a variety of narrators, and as beautiful as the music is, it's a very dark and somewhat disturbing, certainly sinister story. And I understand you were a little bit, or at least partially inspired by true crime.
Yeah, in the way that Norm is truly a criminal. But yeah, you know, I think the time that I was writing this, there was a lot of true crime on Netflix and on all the streaming things. And yeah, you know, it seeped in for sure.
Lots of us love the true crime, so you can experience that in Norm. Well, I found it interesting that you worked with Neil Pogue to help mix this record, who's worked with artists like Outkast, Tyler, the Creator, Janelle Monáe, and I'm curious what drew you to that. It does make sense. I think of those artists as sounding different than your music, although there's also so many similarities, even if the music seems like it might be a different style. But were you wanting someone particularly that could bring something completely different to the record that you hadn't thought of yourself? And what did he bring to it?
I think that's kind of always the hope, is that, you know, I can take a record so far, but the mixing stage is where I personally like to hand it off. And there's, I don't know, there's just so many different worlds of music where, you know, I am very much in the indie world, and Neil kind of exists more in the pop realm. And when I listen to records that he's mixed, he's getting this huge sound. And I think a lot of that has to do with the budgets of the records in the recording stage, but also, you know, Neil's touch. And yeah, I just wanted something different. I wanted a more modern sounding record where I think in the indie world, there's a lot of looking back and trying to get these classic sounds and this warmth. And I thought, you know, I've made a record that has more synths and more modern elements to it than I maybe usually would or have. And I wanted to take it to that sort of a space. And
Yeah, Neil's mixes are like, he just brings everything to the front, and the vocals get all this space around them. And yeah, I think he did a really cool thing with it that I definitely couldn't have done. So
There's definitely a lot of space on this record, and it's just beautifully done.
yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for also sharing the new Foxwarren song. What's coming with that band?
Yeah, it's hard to say. We have a record that we finished like a year and a half ago. It's kind of just, we're in the mastering stage with it right now, but hopefully that's going to come out maybe next year or something. Fingers crossed. You never know, but yeah.
And that disco record, is that still on the horizon?
That disco record is very much in the trash can.
Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by today. It was wonderful to hear those songs.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're live in the studios with Andy Shauf. Thank you so much to all of our wonderful listeners who are also donors. We are listener-powered KEXP. You can learn more about us at kexp.org and make a gift anytime in any amount and help power music discovery. Thank you again. It's Andy Shauf live on KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered kexp.org.